This is a very difficult video to record, and it's a very, very scary video to upload, but I think it might help someone in the end, and I think it's gonna be therapeutic for me. It's also something that I wanted to talk about for a really long time, so just bear with me. The content of this video is exactly what it says in the title. Getting shocked in the brain made me lose myself. Let me explain that. So this fall I started going through a therapy called ECT, which stands for electroconvulsive therapy. This therapy was recommended to me by a specialist, a very well known psychiatrist in Finland, and the treatment is used to treat bipolar disorder, which I have. It's very simple. You get put under. They give you a tiny shock to a very specific part of your brain. You wake up like 10 minutes later, you eat breakfast at the hospital, and then you get to go home. The usual treatment amount is about 2 to 3 times per week for a number of weeks, and I received about 10 treatments in total. During most of my adult life, I have been either horrifically depressed or very over-medicated. I was put on a drug called ketipinor instantly when I was diagnosed by my doctor. He also ramped up the dosage to about 500 milligrams in 2 months, which, if you know anything about drugs used to treat mental illness, is an insane amount, especially to give in such a short period of time. I quit that medication last summer, less than a year ago, and I changed it, which made all the thoughts and all the feelings that I am about to discuss with you come to the surface for the first time. Being on ketipinor made me lose my entire personality. It's supposed to be a so-called downer, which means for bipolar people it's supposed to remove your manic episodes. For me, it did remove my manic episodes. It also removed all of my personality, all of my feelings, and all my enjoyment out of life. For the entire time I was on that drug, I felt basically nothing. I lost everything about myself. After my ECT, I have been unmedicated, which is pretty common after a treatment like this, because the effects are long-lasting. They can last up to 5 years, and a lot of patients feel they don't need their original medication anymore because they feel good, and I have felt good. I haven't had any bipolar symptoms. During the summer and the fall, after I changed my medications, I started to realize a few things. Actually, I started to realize a lot about myself and about my life. So yes, I started noticing all of this before I got pregnant, because I know people will ask, this has nothing to do with my pregnancy. It's not related. And the realizations I had became even more evident once I finished my ECT. I have no idea what I'm actually like as an adult person. I don't know what I enjoy. I have spent my entire 20s either depressed or so medicated that my personality was gone. So how am I supposed to know what I like? I did so many things during my 20s just because I thought I was supposed to do them, not because I genuinely wanted to. I chose people, my hobbies, my wardrobe, basically everything in my life based on the fact that I thought it was expected of me, or that I was just supposed to like those things or want those things. I based my entire life around expectations that I don't know where they came from, instead of what I actually wanted. I didn't have proper emotions or preferences or kind of even a personality, so how was I supposed to know what I wanted. I have spent the last 10 months going over my choices from my 20s, and there are so many of them that I did because I thought I was supposed to make that choice. Because what I wanted didn't matter, because I was too depressed or over-medicated to really want anything. The only things I've always been sure about and continue to be completely sure about are my partner, our baby, our cats, and our life together. I have had doubts about everything else. No one ever talks about what you're supposed to do when you finally get out of being over-medicated or depressed, or in my case, both. I have basically lost 7-8 years of my life. I'm pretty much back to what I was when I was 19, with the additional benefits of no longer having my bipolar symptoms and having some wisdom I gathered in my 20s. I have lost 7 years of emotional and personal growth that other people my age have had. And suddenly there are so many feelings. There are so many, and they are so intense. There's so much love and excitement and happiness, but there is also so much fear and anger and sadness. I am so angry that I lost my 20s. I am grieving all the time I could have had if I had been allowed to be well. And suddenly I fear so much for the future. It's very overwhelming to have all these feelings, even the good ones. I am grieving so much, but I also love so much deeper than I've ever done before. On really hard days, I almost find myself wishing I could go back to that time. Hey, look who's here. Thanks. I think he knows I'm sad. Now, I'm recording stuff. Wanna say hi? Hi. Hi. Hello, my handsome boy. Hi. Speaking of what I love in my life, love this one. But yeah, when it gets really, really hard, I almost wish I could go back to that time. Because yeah, it was horrible. I was so unwell. It was so unnatural and sad and depressing, but it was familiar. Being my own person again is not familiar to me. And apparently these feelings are completely normal to have when you're recovering from a lengthy depression or from being overly medicated or from both, like in my case. And no one talks about it, which is insane. I have been struggling with this for almost a year now, and it's only pretty recently that I have started coming to terms with the years that I lost and becoming better at handling everything that is new to me now, like emotions and figuring out my own interests and likes and what music I want to listen to, what colors I want my home to be, having opinions on things. It's very overwhelming. It's good, but it is very overwhelming. I am forever grateful for my fiancé. He has been such a rock during this very difficult time for me personally. In fact, with all that's happened in the last 365 days, the love that I feel for him is pretty much the only thing that's remained constant. I know just a few things about myself, for sure. I am kind. I am queer. I really want to own my own house someday. I also really want my own big family, and I am stoked that we are getting started on having that. I want to spend the rest of my life with my fiancé, and then the list is done. Discovering myself again after 7 years of not knowing anything about myself is not something that I expect to happen overnight. It will take a really long time. It will also take a lot of work. I don't expect to be authentically myself tomorrow or in 6 months from now or even a year. It will take a really, really long time because I have a lot of things to both learn and unlearn about myself. If you're one of the people like me who currently struggles with discovering your personality after or even during a depression or an overmedication, please know that you're not alone. This is normal. It happens to everyone. But please find the proper support. You deserve to feel comfortable in your own life and to feel comfortable in your own skin. While it is very hard to have to explore myself as a person at the age of almost 27, I am so grateful to have my personality back. I know it's going to make me healthier and happier because it's already started doing that. Everyone around me says that they see a major change for the better, and it's also going to make me a much better partner and a much better parent. Discovering yourself isn't something that you have to wait for the right time to do, or something that you have to put other things aside to do. It's something that you do your entire life because it's a lifelong process. Mine just happens to be a bit more centered around this particular time than it is for most people. So if you want to, you can follow along on my journey in discovering myself as someone who is closing in on 30 in a few years. It will be difficult, I think. I know it will be, but I also know that it will be so worth it. Thanks for watching this video. It was a tough record and probably a pretty tough watch. I'm going to link an old video there. It's one that YouTube thinks you'll like, so if you haven't seen it, you should probably click on it. And I also want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel because I do upload here a lot currently, and the plan is to continue to do so. So there will be a lot of content here for you to watch if you want to. I wish you lots of love and light and a really good rest of your week. Bye!